The Tomas Adamek victory over Steve Cunningham in their rematch over the weekend was a watershed moment. Maybe not for you guys, but in my journey as a boxing fan, it was a watershed moment. I live in the UK, but I have to look at the shifts in patterns of how sport is transmitted on your networks over there. Now, this is one of the rare times in recent years where boxing was on network television out there. So I'm assuming by network television, that's what we would call terrestrial TV. That means you probably wouldn't even have needed cable to see this fight. Yeah? That means potentially, if it didn't, it could go to a broader audience than any of these Showtime or HBO or whatever. Yeah? Live. It's got the potential to hit broad audiences. It's a watershed moment because, as I was saying, if you're going to put or attempt to put TV back on terrestrial or network television, on basic TV, so even the most poorest kids or poorest people can see it, you have to put on a good show. Yeah, you have to put on a good show. And this was a good show. Yeah? Neither of these guys can beat the Klitschko's, but they were very well matched. It was a rematch of a highly controversial first encounter. Evenly matched fight. Both men are ex-champions in the lower divisions. Like Adamek, I think he done his thing at light heavy, and Steve did his thing at cruiser. They put on a good show in terms of the matchup. I don't know what the undercard was, right? But this was a good show. This was boxing's chance to lift itself from out of the quagmire. PEDs. Guys taking the easiest title defenses they can get hold of, or at least their promoters and their managers do. And I'm trying to look on it as an outsider, as someone who doesn't invest as much mental energy into boxing as I do. They're looking at the sport like, damn, it's just a filthy, it's a downright unscrupulous business with no morals. None at all. No different to when, what's his name, Blinky Palermo and them mob guys used to run rap shot all over the game back when. No different to that. No different to when, still as foul. But as I watched the fight, and I could clearly see one man was outboxing the other. And that man who was outboxing the other was Steve Cunningham, handing Tomas Adamek a boxing lesson. But even as I watched, I implored Steve, throw that left uppercut when he falls inside and he leans over for it. Throw it. Yeah? Do more, Steve. Do more. Even though it would have worked against Steve to fight inside, I implored him to at least do a little more work inside, because I knew it was going to happen. I knew what was going to happen. I knew. And that shouldn't happen as a sports fan. I shouldn't be watching one man dominate the other, and then I know, I'm 100% certain what's going to happen next. And it happened. And it's like, wow. As shocked as I didn't want to be, and as hard as I tried to shrug it off, no big deal, just felt that bad taste coming into my mouth. And I don't know what's going to happen in 2013 with boxing in terms of these corrupt officials who work for these commissions and governing bodies, scandalous promoters, stupid boxing fans, idiot commentators, bad decisions, cheats. But all I know right now, I love boxing. But it's a fucked up sport. I'm going to state some points that I stated in another Tomas Adamek video that I made when he fought Eddie Chambers. You know, I'm going to state them again because more than likely the new subscribers aren't going to hit up all my old videos. But like I said, Steve Cunningham went into the ring on Saturday. Him going into the ring is like making an investment into a business. Yeah? That's what it's like. He's not afforded the luxury of what team sports have, where regardless of how he performs, he still has another 38 games to play in that division, regardless of how he performs. Yeah? They're still going to get their revenue money from the television, etc., etc. Steve Cunningham doesn't get that luxury. He has to pay Nassim Richardson, sparring partners. He has to invest his own time, training, supporting his family, his bills, diet, vitamins, all of which cost money. Yeah, I'm not going to mention the names of some fighters, but they got in trouble with substances that they weren't supposed to use, not because they were cheating, but because they couldn't afford to buy the top shelf supplements, the top shelf vitamins, right? Everything costs. Steve was hoping that by defeating Adamek, he could have a post-fight interview and call somebody out. I'm not going to say a particular name, but he could call somebody out. He'd be hoping that his investment now takes him onto a higher purse. But this fucked up sport has thrown that into the air. Now, we're hoping that the commentators and, I don't know, the powers to be are the motherfuckers who robbed him, but we're hoping that the powers to be, the publications, the fans, commentators, journalists, they saw what happened and they're going to at least say, well, the wrong man got the decision. Yeah? Let's make sure Steve gets a big fight and a nice payday with it in his next fight. But he shouldn't have to beg. He shouldn't have to have the begging bowl out. He should be able to initiate his career on his own terms after what should have been a convincing win on points over a good opponent in a relatively high-profile heavyweight match. Yeah? He shouldn't have to do that. The truth is, Steve is a very competent fighter. Very technically adept fighter. But at heavyweight, he's not a banger. He's not a banger. He doesn't have what you call a brawling, crowd-pleasing style. Most people want to see heavyweights put somebody over on the floor. Steve won't be fighting the top-notch heavyweights looking to put them on the floor. So yeah, everybody's going to say, bad luck, Steve. Bad luck, Steve. You know, you deserve to win. But at the same time, he's not going to garner enough sympathy to propel him into a big fight. Yeah? Because he doesn't have what they call a television-friendly, toe-to-toe slugging style. He doesn't have that. Yeah? He was relying on outboxing his man and that the free judges don't turn into the free blind mice, or at least two of them did. He's hoping for that, and rightly so. I mean, fighters with fan bases and fighters who don't mind taking 2 to land 1 or taking 3 to land 1 with fan bases, they're not so bothered by, well, obviously they want to win, but it doesn't really affect them that badly because majority rules, like I keep saying. That's what the networks want to see. That's what the fans want to see. So certain guys, they can take losses and go back in the ring and people still want to see them because they're providing them that slam bam action. More than likely, Steve Cunningham is going to be out of pocket after this fight. That's the truth. You know? He stepped in the ring, risked his life, risked his health, which is his decision. But nevertheless, that's the realities of it, you know? Now, some of the more obnoxious boxing fans, you're going to say, well, why doesn't he fight like a man? Why doesn't he stand there and trade? Yeah, okay, cool. But you know, what happened to styles make fights? I mean, if this is what you're calling for, we might as well just have phone boxes instead of boxing rings then. If that's the case then, just have phone boxes and be done with it. Just be done with it. I mean, to me, a true fanboy, and this is just my opinion, is somebody who supports their fighter, but can't accept that unless he's given a opponent who can complement what he does good, he's not so effective. But yet you're saying he's the best. And no disrespect to Adamek, he's complaining that Cunningham ran too much. I didn't see the referee once reprimand Steve for not making a fight of it. Not once. I didn't hear the commentator say, damn, Steve, you're moving too much. This is making for the most boring spectacle we could have. Not once. Yeah? Not once. I didn't hear one fan from the pro-Adamek crowd boo. Woo! Not once. And when the fighter who quote-unquote won the fight starts complaining that his opponent didn't make a fight of it and didn't make it more compatible for him to look good, that just always tells a story of what really transpired in that ring. In itself, you know, every time a fighter does that, who quote unquote won, you know the time. You don't even have to watch the fight. All you got to do is watch the post fight. Right? I mean, I got to use Floyd Mayweather as my example here, right? I've never heard Floyd complain that his opponent was too aggressive. Yes, he complained when a man was headbutting him, because that's a blatant, flagrant foul. Yeah? Of course he's going to complain about that. But I've never heard him complain that this fighter tried to be too aggressive or be too rough or he ran too much. Never heard it. But Adamek was complaining that Steve was running too much, even though the referee or the commentators, or none of you guys, I don't care if you're Adamek fans, none of you guys thought that. But you probably ran with it when Thomas said it in the post-fight. You probably, yeah, he's right, you know, he ran too much. And let's not get this twisted, yeah? I'm not going at the Adamek fans. A lot of them have actually came on and they said the wrong man got the decision. So I'm not having a go at them. I'm just saying, generally, that's what a fanboy does. Yeah? You are a fanboy. You are a fanboy. You're not a boxing fan. You just can't be. You can't be, you know? But it is what it is, man. The majority you want to see slugfest, so, we can see where the commentators are going to be biased now. And that's that. That's something that counterpunchers are going to have to be looking at. That's something, And like I said, it was a watershed moment for me. 'Cause I just realized, this shit is no different from WWE. You know what I mean? It's scripted. It's scripted. It's not as real as we've always thought it was. The noble art, two men. Nah. It's full of shit. It's full of shit. I mean, Steve Cunningham is noble. Tomas Adamek is noble. You dudes fucking with somebody's hard work like that, nah, you're fucked up. You're fucked up. And take it how you want to take it, whoever's listening to this video. If I heard something bad happen to one of them guys who rendered a decision like that, like the 116, 112 for a Adamek or even a draw. If I heard something bad happen to them, I'd laugh at them. I'd laugh at their plight, at their demise, at their misfortunes. I would laugh, and I wouldn't feel no way about doing it either. I'd be glad something happened to someone like that, because you're fucking with somebody's hard work. You're fucking with the work somebody's put into trying to get something out of life, And that's not right. It's not fucking right. Not every boxer can have a big fan base, yeah? Just because you know what you're doing in there, that doesn't necessarily go along with having a big fan base. And there should be something there to protect them guys from shit like that. There should be, but there's not going to be. I mean, Germany is notorious for robbing away fighters. They're notorious. But it was kind of clever the other day when Michael Sprott, a British heavyweight, fought this guy named Gerber. It was kind of clever because it was a close fight. It was a close fight. Very close. It's one of them fights I've seen in Germany that always goes to the German fighter. Always. Always. But this time they gave it to Sprott. They gave the fight to Sprott. And Steve Bunce was like making a big deal of it. And the reason he was making a big deal of it is because it was a big deal. Right? But that was clever of them, because if they keep doing it and don't throw nobody a bone ever. It's, so once in a while they have to throw a bone out there. And Gerber was the sacrificial lamb for that, And it's a watershed moment because I realize that nothing is going to be done to stop all of the grievances that I've aired out in this video. I sat down and watched that fight. And what's the duration? 36 minutes actual fighting time. Let's say 1 minute's rest 11 times. Let's say that's 47 minutes. Bit of the build up. Let's throw in another 10. Post fight, another 10, 15 or whatever. It's roughly an hour or so. It's an hour or so of me watching an event. That shit takes up, I know it's harder for the fighters, but that takes up a lot of mental energy. You get what I'm saying? Even spectating that, it takes up a lot of mental energy. We're all acclimatized into a system where we're told if you work hard, you get this and that, and that there should be some kind of semblance of fair play that should be consistent in most aspects of your life, And that includes sitting down to watch a boxing fight. That includes that too. Yeah? And once again, we didn't get it. You know what I mean? Once again, we didn't get it. You know, they're going to do about as much at amending fucked up decisions as they are going to do about the proliferation of title belts out there. They're going to do fuck all. Fuck all. Can't even blame it on a hometown verdict. This was in Steve Cunningham's hometown. This happened. Where's your support, Steve? You're boxing all these years. Where is your fan base, dog? It's not like, say, you were boxing way out of your state. You was in your hometown, in your backyard. Where's you? Where? Philly. Where the fuck you at? Well, you can't buy boxing tickets. Look, man, we discussed this with Ian Napper. It's the same thing over the UK. Some of you man can lay it down. You know what I mean? You mean you got your champagne and you're flossing out in the club. You can do all of that. You can do all that bullshit. But you can't buy a ticket to support your fucking homeboy. You let all the polls buy up all the tickets. You didn't compete for none of the tickets. In a way, you know, you can't really moan about it. I mean, how many black boxing channels in America am I subscribed to? So don't tell me that you black guys out there don't like boxing. You love boxing. You love boxing. Right? Same like out here. Tomas Adamek said he deserved to win. And he stated that several times, even after the adrenaline has worn off, that he deserved to win. And you know, why shouldn't he say that? I mean, look. He goes in the ring and has to take punishment for a living. Yeah? What the fuck do you think he's going to say? Yeah, I lost. Reduce my purse for the next fight. So we can get some parity of justice in this bitch. No, why would he do that? No. My man's looking for his multi-million or whatever purse he's going to get against Klitschko. That's what he's looking towards now. That's what he's looking towards. And so would I. I take my big fan BS wherever I'm fucking clean up some papes. Yeah? Not Adamek's fault. It's not his fault. Go and support your man. What the fuck? Peace out.